The Superman trailer dropped last week, and it was the biggest trailer of the year, and for all the right reasons. Are we finally getting a comic accurate Superman movie? Hey Internet, I'm Chris, and this is the place on the internet where I talk about comics, movies, games, and things I'm generally passionate about. So, the last few days, the internet's been crazy about the Superman trailer. And like I said, for all the right reasons, it hits you in the feels. Everyone's talking about the shot of Superman flying across and saving that little girl. Gives you all the right emotions. James Gunn hit all the right notes with Crypto. You got the bowl cut Guy Gardner that looks exactly like a Kevin McGuire drawing. All the right things are done in the trailer. And I think the reason why it's so popular is that people have been starving for a comic accurate Superman movie for a really long time. Now, the Snyder movies, Man of Steel, Batman vs. Superman, Zack Snyder's Justice League, they all have really great comic elements, but I think they veered very far away from what traditional Superman is. And it really was a deconstruction of the character and other interpretations of Superman, like Injustice, or things that were kind of flipping, that were taking a lot from Superman, whether it be Homelander and The Boys or Omni-Man and Invincible. I think we've spent a lot of the last 15 years talking about what if Superman was evil. And I think finally audiences are at a point where they're like, what if Superman was Superman? And was good and was kind to people. And it's kind of crazy that we veered so far away that doing a comic accurate, or at least in spirit, because the story looks like, with all the characters that are included in the movie, that is going to be an interpretation or something completely original that James Gunn has come up with. But in terms of the interpretation and the spirit of the characters and how they're depicted, it would be very comic accurate. You see moments of Clark Kent bumbling around Metropolis as he towers over people but is still not seen. And I think it's for the first time people are watching the trailer and they're like, oh, I kind of get the Clark Kent Superman disguise. It makes sense. And these are the things that are getting people excited. It's not, yes, there's some big... the trailer literally starts with Superman bleeding. So that kind of intrigues you. You also get Lex Luthor, who in every shot looks like he hates whatever Superman's doing, which is great and comic accurate. But like I said, I think really sort of what has gotten people to the point where they're watching and rewatching the trailer, and it became the biggest trailer in Warner Brothers and DC history, despite, I think, Batman being their most popular character, and I will not argue with that, so just move on. But people are watching it and liking it and are really hype about the movie because it's just Superman. Superman is the first superhero of all time, and I think we live in a world, and as James Gunn has talked about himself, in a world where it's not easy to be kind. It's not easy to be good to others. We live in a world, in a country where it's very divided, and it can be easy to hate your neighbor and the worst of people. So to have a character like Superman, who has all the power in the world, who could easily just turn his back on everyone, and even in the trailer you see people throwing things at his head and yelling at him, but despite all that, he believes in the good in humanity, and he always does the right thing. And I think that's what makes him an inspiring character. We've gotten to the point where, with all those other depictions, that, hey, where for a long time people were like, that's boring, he's a Boy Scout, like, I don't get, that's not interesting, he's so powerful. But now we've gotten to the point where those are actually really distinguishable characteristics that really make Superman special, and we're getting something that's clearly comic accurate, close to what All-Star Superman was, Superman for all seasons, and any great Superman story you can think of. And to be able to see that on the big screen, there have been some great interpretations, like in Smallville, or we just got one in Superman and Lois in the animated series. But it's really been since Superman 2, Richard Donner's Superman movies, where we got a truly classic and, universally loved Superman film. So I think people are hoping that this is that. Now, again, we live in a place where it's super divided, and people, even on the internet, despite the reaction to the trailer, which I think is overwhelmingly positive, you do have a cohort of people saying, hey, what is with the lighting? This looks weird and that. So, I mean, but it is the internet, so you can always find negativity where you want to look. But I do hope that this is a moment where we can all get together, we can all support this movie, and it's a real start to the DCU, where DC does have an opportunity to overtake Marvel and provide something different than what has been going on in the comic book movie space. And we also get an opportunity for Superman to reclaim that number one spot as the greatest superhero of all time from Batman. But he has an opportunity to do that just because people have been yearning for a great Superman. And David Corenswet and James Gunn got people excited, which is all DC can really ask for this point. When for years, especially with the DCU, even if you're a fan of it, you know the last, especially couple years, everyone knew it was a lame duck universe. So even things I like Aquaman 2, did not perform to the level of the original Aquaman, and some of the things like Shazam 2, which people hated, I thought was okay, performed really badly, sent Zachary Levi down a weird spiral and all these other things. But it seemed that, like, hey, so much damage had been done to the DC brand. Could they recover? And now with the response to the Superman trailer, I think it is safe to say that they're in a spot where people are excited, and this could be the first Superman movie that crosses $1 billion. What do you think? Do you think people are excited about the trailer because it's good old classic Superman, or do you think they're just, hey, it's a Superman trailer, it's DC, I'm gonna watch it no matter what? Let me know. Like, comment, subscribe, and peace.